Okay, my computer shut down on me. So, good good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. All right, let's try this again. So my computer shut down on me. So we're back. We're back. Second try. So happy Wednesday to you all. I saw there was a couple people watching, so feel free to hop back on if you're able to. I know life happens, so let me make sure. Again, we're live in the group, but say hi. Let me know how's your day going. What's new with you? How are you ladies doing? Again, I'm super excited to be here. This training today, we're diving deeper. We're talking about our plan of attack today. So first of all, we need to talk about how do we deal with these obstacles that we deal with on a daily basis. These are things that I hear us saying in the group. I talk to moms all the time about these obstacles, and there are solutions to these problems. I have worked through some of them. It's always a process, but I'm really excited to talk about these obstacles today. So again, if you're hopping on, say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're excited to hear about these two obstacles and how we can learn to overcome them. So we've been talking about our plan of attack, right? And so I want to kind of dive a little bit more into that and understand how do we put this plan of attack together, right? What does your plan of attack look like? And of course, everybody's plan of attack is going to look a little different because you have a different life, right, than the rest of us. So that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. Again, if you're here, if you're someone who, you're just tired of life tripping you up with your health journey, like you find yourself restarting your journey over and over and over again, then this training is for you. So welcome, and welcome to a lot of our new members. This group is growing, so I just want to make sure I say welcome. I'm here every week with these live trainings. I want to provide you guys with some value. These trainings are for women of faith or moms of faith. A lot of us are moms in this group. That's kind of my main focus because I'm a mom. So I understand a lot of these struggles that we have in life. How do we get healthier when we have kids and a husband and maybe a job and all these different things? So these weekly trainings are for you. Be here every week. I want these trainings to be useful because I want us to learn and desire to get healthier in spirit, soul, and body. Remember, I talk about that a lot. You got to have the spirit being healthy as well. So there's something to that, to be said for that. So I want us to get healthier in spirit, soul, and body so that we can understand how we're designed to live, because we are designed to thrive, not just survive, right? A life that's thriving and not just surviving. That's what I like to say. So I'm here to provide you ladies with some value. These things that I'm talking about, they can be applicable right away, right now. I want you to understand why things are happening the way that they're happening, how you can move forward in your journey. I am a coach, I'm a health and fitness coach, but even if you aren't able to do any coaching with me right now, I want to get you going in a good direction. I want you to understand maybe just a few steps of things that you need to take action on, right? So if that's you, if you're excited to be here, if you need some help with these obstacles, you've been on a journey for a while and things just keep tripping you up, I'm pretty sure if you're a mom or if you're someone who's really busy, you probably run into these obstacles before. So I'm excited to share them with you. So let me know in the comments if you're excited. See someone's watching. So I know not everybody can be on here right when I do these trainings, but if you're watching it now, put live, hashtag live. And if you're going to watch it later, when you're watching it then, put hashtag replay, just so I know, if this training was useful for you. And make sure you comment and let me know how things are going for you and if this resonates with you and if this is applicable to you. So, all right, so remember, we're talking about having a plan. And last week I talked about how we need to have a plan of attack, right? In order to have this plan of success going on, we need to have a plan of attack. So I want us to be reminded of something in Scripture. Today is going to be a little bit more practical for the body, practical for the mind. So I want to keep this in mind as we go. There's not as much words of wisdom from the word today, but I do want us to keep in mind the reasons why we're doing this. We talk about getting healthy spiritually as well. So I wanted to read in Colossians really quick. Colossians 1, 9 through 14, probably a familiar section of scripture for you. But this is super important, and I wanted to emphasize this as we jump into these obstacles, because it's really super important for us to understand what needs to happen spiritually as well as mentally before we can start to conquer these obstacles. So it says, Colossians 1, 9 through 14, 9 says, "So we have not stopped praying for you since we first heard about you. We ask God to give you complete knowledge of his wisdom and to give you spiritual wisdom and understanding. Then the way you live will always honor and please the Lord, and your lives will produce every kind of good fruit. All the while you will grow as you learn to know God better and better." And then this verse 11 is what I want us to kind of focus on. It says, and this was a prayer that I believe, Paul wrote this to the Colossians, the group. I can't think of the word. And he says, so he's saying this to them. He said, "We, being him and his team, we also pray that you will be strengthened with all his glorious power, so you will have all the endurance and patience you need. May you be filled with joy, always thanking the Father. He has enabled you to share in the inheritance that belongs to his people who live in the light. For he has rescued us from the kingdom of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of his dear Son, who purchased our freedom and forgave our sins." Again, that's Colossians 1, 9 through 14. And this is a super important passage of scripture, I believe, because one, it talks about us being of the light, right? A lot of the time when we work through these obstacles, there are things going on in your head. There's negativity going on, and it's really hard to attack sometimes without the word of God. And so Paul is saying to the Colossians, I'm praying for you to have all endurance and patience as you work through and you continue to do the things that they've been doing. And as believers, we deal with a lot of obstacles, right? I mean, in this world we live in, we deal with so many obstacles. But the promise here is that, you can be praying for yourself, and I'm praying for you, that you will have all the endurance and patience you need. And as you continue to grow in your knowledge of who God is and who God's made you to be, and it even says in there, we are called to the light. We are not of the darkness anymore. That's who you are. But as you understand that, you will have more patience, you will have more endurance, you will be able to get through these obstacles easier and easier. And, not that they won't still come at you, but you'll understand, you'll recognize them, and you'll use your plan of attack, and you will conquer them because you have the endurance and patience that you need. So that's to start us out. But the first obstacle, I want to talk about something really quickly, just share a little bit about me. So I was homeschooled growing up. My mom there's 6 of us, and so my parents decided they were going to homeschool us. I think I went to kindergarten and first grade, maybe second grade, into Christian school, and then my mom decided they felt the Lord leading them to homeschool us. And so I felt like homeschooling for me was, as far as like keeping things going, my mom did a really good job. And then, once you got to a specific age, like I was homeschooled all the way through high school, I was able to grasp the idea that I had certain things I needed to do at a certain time, and I needed to get my work done. I did that really well, I feel like, until I hit probably my sophomore year of high school, where I knew that I wanted to be a hairstylist. I knew I wasn't really going to go to college, so I was like, I don't have to finish some of these things. So there were periods of time where I was behind. I didn't finish some subjects. So, but for the most part, I was able to self-motivate myself to get my work done. There was like videos I watched to get my homework done. For the most part, like I said, until I got to probably sophomore year, things kind of went downhill. But, I finished most things. But I always had this sense of structure that, my mom helped with that. And then when I got to a certain age, I just kind of took over. And the curriculum we used was very self-sufficient. So I just learned to build structure into my life. Now, the thing I want to stress with this is no matter where you're at in life, if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you are a career mom, if you're a single woman, wherever you're at in life, there is some sort of structure that needs to be happening in our lives, right? So that we are getting all the things we need to get done. We're being a good, employee. We're taking care of our family, right? And so I've talked about in the past, as far as like understanding that the importance of self-care. So you need to make yourself a priority in those responsibilities. So the obstacle that I see that we as moms really face, whether you're at home, whether you are working and you're doing both, or whatever it is that your current plan or the plans that you've tried in the past, and I'm talking about your health plan, things that you have tried, they don't fit your life, your wants, or your needs. And that's the first obstacle, is that maybe the things you've tried in the past just don't work. Maybe parts of them do. I like to do exercise classes, and I do them on demand. So I can just push play whenever I want to do a class. But I still have to be motivated enough to, like I just did it about an hour ago, I went and did a cardio workout. Now that I don't work in the gym now, so it was a lot easier for me to go teach, because I had to teach, I had to be there, I had some sort of accountability making me go work out. Whereas now I'm full-time at home, my kids are at school, I have all this time. I'm working my business, but that's part of what I'm saying is there are things that are going to change in your life. And so with that, your plan of attack needs to come with some shifts and some changes. And so if you keep falling off your healthy journey, then the plan you're on doesn't fit your life. It doesn't work for you. And I'm saying there is a way to fit it into your life. And your plan, again, probably looks different than someone else's plan. And so this idea behind structured, this is going to sound weird, structured flexibility is something that I have had to work through. So what do you mean structured flexibility? That sounds like I'm contradicting myself, right? And this is something that, being a stay-at-home mom for a while, so I did hair full-time. I worked in a salon for 10 years before I had my first child, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I quit that, and I still do hair part-time here in my house. But I had a career. I knew what that looked like, and I knew this wasn't for me. I don't really want to do hair full-time forever. Like, I like doing hair, but that's just not, it just wasn't for me. And God showed me, long story short, that what I'm doing now is really part of my purpose, but doing hair was part of that for me. And doing hair, working in a career, that really gave me some structure that I needed. Being homeschooled, some people are better at it than others. Like I said, I did a pretty good job being structured, but like being on time and being at places when you needed to be there, like I had to kind of learn that later in life because my mom didn't really structure that for us. And, life happens and there's no negativity about that, but that's something that I learned that I needed. I needed that structure. I needed someone to tell me that I need to be there at this time and I need to be there 15 minutes early in order for me to actually be on time. And that was really a struggle for me. God bless my boss. She didn't fire me. But I needed to learn structure, right? And so wherever you're at, whatever health journey you're on, your current plan, if you keep falling off of it, is not flexible enough. It needs to have structure. So you need to have structured flexibility. That is the solution to this problem of your current plan not working, because your life is structured in a way and you have specific responsibilities, and knowing how to plug in your exercise, knowing how to plug in your nutrition, knowing how to plug in your time in the Word, it looks different for you. And so you have to learn to use structured flexibility. And so, what I mean by that, something that I teach my clients is, you need to plan things. We need to figure out the non-negotiables that need to be in your life, right? I've talked about that a while back. Go watch those trainings if you want those trainings. Put non-negotiables in the comments and let me know, because I talk about what should your non-negotiables of life be. Obviously, the word, and then whatever they are. You kind of have to figure that out for yourself. So this structured flexibility has to include those things, because if we're going to take care of ourselves and be the best for our families, for our job, for our career, we have to make us a priority. And so you have to have some sort of structured flexibility, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're working, whatever it is. Things have to, your non-negotiables have to be there, but sometimes they will have to be flexible. Sometimes you may not be able to work out in the morning. Maybe you need to work out in the evenings, whatever it is, but it needs to have a plan. It needs to be on your calendar, and it needs to be flexible, right? So, hopefully that's not too overwhelming, but that's part of figuring out your plan of attack, is what does that look like? And how, who keeps you accountable when those things happen in life and you get home from work and you're like, I will be honest, the last 2 days I haven't worked out. And it's just because of my lack of self-control, my self-discipline. Like, I had a lot to do, yes, but last night I was like, I could get a 30-minute workout in, but I'm really tired and I kind of just want to watch. We've been watching The Chosen, which, by the way, if you haven't watched The Chosen, it's amazing. I was like, I really want to watch The Chosen, so that's what I did. So today I was like, all right, and for me, if I don't get a workout in 2 days, I have to get a workout the third day. Like, it's just, for me, if I go longer than 2 days, I will tend to fall off faster. So I know for me, and I need it too, like mentally, I need those endorphins and all that stuff. So anyways, structured flexibility is what I'm saying has to happen. So if that's you, if you struggle with this obstacle of, you've tried plans, or your current plan or your past plan didn't fit into your life, put obstacle in the comments and let me know. Is that you? Do you also struggle with this? Because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of us that do. So let me know in the comments. I'm just going to make sure I haven't missed any comments. Okay, I see a couple people watching. If you're watching, say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me know who's watching. I see you. I want to make sure I don't miss any of your comments. So, all right, cool. Anyways, so I'm going to get on to the second obstacle. And this second obstacle, I hear a lot. I have struggled with this. And so it's a very common thing. You're not alone, I promise. But when we're talking about getting healthier, these are going to be the main things that you struggle with. Main things, main hurdles. They are going to have to figure out what your plan of attack looks like in order to get over these obstacles. So, I wanted to share a little story with you. And it has to do with when I started this business. When I decided that I was going to start, doing health and fitness coaching, the Lord was putting it on my heart. It was last year when COVID happened and things shut down. I decided to quit my job at the gym. And, that first month of being at home full-time with my family, I'm sure many of you can relate. There was some conflict that was there. There was some communication issues that we had with my husband and I, and he was working from home and the kids were home all the time. And I remember thinking that I don't know how I'm going to be working at home right now. Like, how do you want me to do this with noise in the background and, just all these issues? And so I talked to a friend of mine, and she's actually what's called a conflict coach. Shout out to Kristen Lawrence. She's in the group also. And she's a friend of ours, friend of Jeff's family. Jeff kind of grew up with her husband. So they were really good friends. And, I told her I was kind of struggling, and she was like, all right, let's just chat. Let's see what's going on, and maybe there's something I can do to help you. And I remember talking to her thinking, I think the Lord really wants me to start a health and fitness business. And, if anyone knows me, Um, I mean, I am a go-getter, but I never imagined myself being an entrepreneur. I never thought that I would start my own business, that this is what I would be doing. But I just want you to know it was God led. God led me here. It was His timing. Like there was so many things that God put in place for me to be here and to serve you, and I am so grateful because He's given me the tools and the understanding to know how to do it. I'm continually learning. But anyways, I was telling her, kind of what was going on, and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I was like, it is so frustrating right now. Like, we're having communication issues, and I'm like, is it me? Like, you always feel like when you're in arguments, you're like, it's me, like, it's always me. Those negative mindsets going through your head. And, she's telling me, she's like, if this is where God is calling you, then there has to be some sort of communication that happens with you and your kids and you and your husband. And I remember thinking, oh, well, okay. And because she was like, they're a part of your family, and they're a part of this picture too. They're a part of your life. And I bring this story up because if you being the mom, the person who kind of runs the house, most of us moms, that's what we do. Sometimes the dads do it. But even still, if you being the woman, you being the mom, know I need to spend some time making time for me. And I have people in my house who it seems like they're against me, right? Have you ever felt that way? Um, there's some communication that needs to happen in life. And so this is the second obstacle. While we love our families, while we feel blessed to have our kids, the people that are closest to you in your life, and that, if you're single and you have friends, and this still applies to you, people that you hang out with all the time, those people, they can be an obstacle in your life, right? And I've talked to several of you ladies who, and you've probably seen me put up a couple of posts, is your spouse supportive of you getting healthier? Do you have picky eaters in your house? I put those posts up to see, what are you saying? Because I know that I've struggled with that. And is this a common thing? So that's the second obstacle. While we love our families, while we love our friends, they tend to be an obstacle in our life because we have taken the responsibility to take care of their needs first and not our own. Now, again, this is like what I've seen. Not everybody's like this. A lot of moms that, are in a health and fitness journey, like they're understanding this. They're starting to understand that this has to be a priority. And so, again, remember when I talked about non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? Your non-negotiables should include you. They should include your self-care. What does your self-care look like? This is part of your plan, is knowing what those non-negotiables are. And so once you know what those non-negotiables should be, now we work towards your plan of success. But part of your success is your plan of attack. And part of your plan of attack is dealing with this obstacle. Because you may have a husband who doesn't necessarily like the food that you're making. You have kids who maybe they're picky eaters and they don't like the food that you're making. Or maybe, whatever it is, that's the most common one I hear. And here's the thing, like, I've worked through some of these things. They've gotten better over time. They're not perfect. But I have worked to get my kids to eat vegetables. Do they like all the vegetables? No. But they like some of them, and those are the ones I feed them. I've just figured out that's if they will eat those, then those are the veggies I will feed them. So there has to be a communication going on between you and your husband, for one, because you guys are a team, right? If you struggle with your marriage, that can be a huge problem. And so maybe there's some counseling that needs to happen. Maybe you need a conflict coach to work through these things, because if these are huge obstacles, these things are keeping you from getting healthier. And it's a lot of work, right? To communicate to your husband or to your kids. Now it's not so much of a big deal. When my kids get home from school, or, I worked through kind of what my business needs to look like. And if I'm talking to someone on the phone, all I got to say is, hey guys, I'm going to be on the phone. Mom's going to be on the phone. Can you be quiet, please? Or can you go downstairs? You're helping me out, and me just communicating the fact that, when I ask you to be quiet, you're helping me out, and that was one thing that Kristen, my friend, told me. She was like, if you give them a job, if you show them that, hey, if you do this for me, you're helping me out. You're helping me. And kids just thrive in that, like, oh, I'm a big helper. And that was something that kind of was like an aha for me, like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And my kids thrive on that. And so I've practiced that now a little bit more. And so now all I have to do is, if I need to do a phone call while they're home from school or they have a virtual day, it's like, okay, I'm going to be on the phone. You guys, I need you to go in the basement. I need you to go downstairs. Or, there's still ways of fitting things in. Like, my kids do quiet time. It's a mandatory thing in our house. Mama needs quiet. You need quiet. If you don't do quiet time in your house, I would highly recommend it. I don't care how old your kids are. Everybody needs a little bit of downtime. Everybody needs to chill. So that's a little side note. But anyways, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this obstacle, this is the main thing. This is the key. When it comes to your life, your home should be your safe zone. I talk about this a lot with my clients. Your home should be your safe zone. That's when it comes to what food you bring into the house. If it's not a part of your plan, you shouldn't be bringing it in. And sometimes the obstacle is that your kids don't like that. Your husband doesn't like that idea. But to work towards 80 to 90% consistency of being better in nutrition, you have to control those things. You have to learn to control them. And yes, maybe your husband isn't so excited about that. But if it's an obstacle for you, it doesn't need to be in your house, right? So, I do a system in my programs called Wean to Lean. And what happens is there are usually things that we're eating, we shouldn't be eating so much of them. I say wean because, again, nutrition is 80 to 90% consistency. God's designed food, I think, for us to enjoy, but if we're eating added sugars all the time, if we're eating the wrong portions of carbs or fats or proteins, our body's not going to lose weight. Our body's not going to get healthier. So we have to learn to wean out some things in order to get leaner. So that's what I call it, wean to lean. And I've had a couple ladies going through it, and they have said, because their husbands have been a little not so excited about it, that, me showing them that you can have good food and it tastes good and not necessarily have to have all these other things around. I think it was Rosalind who said her husband, I can eat healthy if it tastes good. And that's the thing that I teach people is healthy food does taste good. You don't need all the junk food. And so while you may have picky eaters in your house, if you wean out things slowly, and this is what I had to do. I used to love my coffee chocked full of sugar. That's how I started drinking coffee. I would go to Scooters and I would get like a vanilla latte with, everything. And that's how I used to drink it. And, I realized over time, I was like, I have got to cut back on the sugar. So I didn't do it all at one time. I started slowly. I started with not doing added sugar. And I just did creamer, but lots of creamer. And then I slowly weaned myself back, and I slowly worked my way out of creamer. And now I just use almond milk and coffee most of the time. Sometimes I'll add a little squirt of, like if you go to Starbucks, I just ask for like one pump of whatever flavor. But I can't have too much sugar now because it's too sweet for me. I just can't do it. So I slowly weaned myself off of that. So if this is you also, you feel like your family, your picky eaters, your husband, maybe are semi-obstacles because they're not so excited about you getting healthier because you want to pull all these things all at once. Put obstacle in the comments and let me know, is this you? Do you struggle with this? Because I promise you, you're not alone. I have seen these obstacles in my own life. I have seen them in other people's lives. I hear about them all the time. And again, for a mom, I think they're the biggest obstacles. I really do. So um, that's kind of all I had for today. Um, oh, Cat, my sister-in-law says, I see where Dad gets his almond milk thing. Yes. Yes. Sorry about that. Um, yep. So, but I want to talk about this a little bit more. I'm trying to get together with my husband and maybe even with my kids and do a little interview to help you guys kind of understand what's worked for us, kind of how we worked through some of these obstacles. Because I'll tell you, in the beginning, when I decided to go gluten dairy free, husband was not that excited about it. And it wasn't that I was taking it away from him, but for him, it was just like remembering, to not ask me, oh, do you want cheese? Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat it. So those were just some of the things that we worked through. So I am working, I don't know when exactly it will be, but hopefully soon, because he works during the day too. So hopefully soon he and I can get together, and maybe even my kids and I, and we can do a little interview for you guys so we can kind of share with you kind of what's worked for us, how the kids even feel about it. And because sometimes you don't even think about how your kids feel about stuff. So anyways, that is all I have for you guys today. If you need help figuring out what your structured flexibility should look like and how to start making your home a safe zone, just reach out. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Do you deal with these two obstacles? Are they problems for you? Let me know and I'll reach out to you, or you can reach out to me. All right. So you guys have a great Wednesday. I will see you guys soon.